What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you why your field goals miss to the right. If this video helps you out, smash the like button and subscribe for more content. Alright guys, so the first things we need to understand is why the ball goes right. So normally the ball goes right if you hit under it or too low on the ball. And then in combination with not finishing the kick, which I'll talk about later on. But a lot of times bad ball contact and hitting under the ball is going to cause it to go to the right. And if it's not that, the second thing is another technical error. And some of these technical errors that we're about to talk about also cause you to hit under the ball. It'll cause the ball to push to the right, or it can also fade. So a push is where the ball just goes right from the start, and a fade is going to be it starts straight and then it fades off to the right. Alright, so the first thing is going to be ball setup. Now, as a right-footed kicker, you always want the ball leaning either straight up or a little to the right here. You never want it leaning to the left. Now, where we can get in trouble that hurts us and causes a push to the right is sometimes if we get it too far to the right, that can kind of cause you to not hit the sweet spot, or it'll move the sweet spot from here and it'll kind of take it and shift it this way. So maybe you only catch the inside of it and you can't hit it solid. So that's one thing. And then another thing is how far either forward or backwards you tilt it. So I'll move the camera so y'all can see. All right, so how far forwards or backwards you have it. Now, some people like it forward, some people like it backwards. So for me, off the ground, I like it straight up or even a little bit forward. I used to put it backwards like this, but that kind of causes me to hit under it, and it kind of closes off the sweet spot because you're closer to the ground now here. Whereas if you put it upright or even a little forward, it kind of opens up the sweet spot. But this is something you might have to play with. Some people like the ball leaned a different way. All right, so the second technical error, and this is something that I used to do really bad, is when you're too square here with your shoulders and your hips, and you can't really get your hips or your body into it. So what I mean by that is if we're kicking this way, like it's set up, if I'm so square, my shoulders are straight down the field right here, they're going straight, then my foot is going to swing most likely toe down here. And if your hips are square like this, you don't have room to really like get your hips through the ball. So instead of being super square here, if you turn your hips and this right side, if you drop it back just a little bit to where now your shoulders and your hips are not all the way open to the ball because that's too much, but if you put it right in between your plant spot and the ball. So, and this is what I talk about, the approach line. We'll get into it here in just a bit, but if you haven't watched my top tips to kick field goals, I talk about it in that video as well. So if your shoulders and your hips are too square to your plant spot, then when you swing, your foot's going to kind of come around and chop down on it. And when you chop down, a lot of times it'll push the ball to the right. And this is something I dealt with a lot, and I'm still working on, but it's something that I noticed that really would cause me to push the ball to the right or hit under it and not hit a very good ball. So now we're going to talk about the third thing, which is going to be your steps are too wide for your swing. So we take our back steps. If your steps are really big back here, a lot of times it can cause you to push the ball to the right. And again, this depends on your swing. For my swing, being a little wider helps me out actually, but for some people it would cause them to push to the right. And so this is, again, something you're going to have to play with just a little bit. But if you find yourself pushing a lot of balls to the right and you feel like you could be too wide, you might try one kick where instead of taking two really big or two normal steps to you, take a little bit smaller and just see how that feels. because this is something I've dealt with where if I'm too wide, I'll push the ball to the right. The next thing is something that I talk about a lot in my videos, and it's going to be opening your drive step. So it's the second step we have going into the ball. Now, if you watched my other video, why your field goals missed to the left, you'll also notice this was one of the reasons in there too, because this can actually cause you to miss either way depending on your technique and depending on your style. So if you take this second drive step and instead of going down your approach line, you open up inside to the ball here, you're now telling your body that the ball should be farther to the right than where it is, because if we stay down our line, we're calculated to kick the ball where it is, okay? So if we're back here and we have our line and we go down that line, that's perfect, because now the ball's in the right spot, we're gonna hit it in the right spot. Versus instead, now we open up here, now we're telling our body, okay, the balls should technically be way to the right from where it is. Now our body has to adjust and we have to throw ourselves back to the left. A lot of times you'll swipe across it and you can push that to the right, or you'll get really bad contact and get under it. So the next thing, why you push your ball to the right is if we don't have enough lean. So what I mean by this is your body lean. When you plant to kick the ball, your body's gonna be at an angle here, leaning away. So if you're up really tall, it's gonna cause your foot to kind of chop down a little more. At least that's what happened for me, is if I'm too tall, my leg swing will chop more down on it. And if I have more lean, it'll flatten it out to where I get a better hit on the ball. So it takes my foot from here to down here, and it's hard to get that lean being stationary. The more lean you have, it'll kind of flatten out your swing, and you'll be able to come and hit through the inside panel and kind of hit almost up on the ball a little bit. Versus if you're tall, for me, that doesn't really work because it causes me to chop down on it. And again, chopping down normally causes bad ball contact and a push to the right or a fade. And now the last thing is going to be not finishing the kick. And this is something I've been learning recently in the last month or two, where I'll come in to kick the ball and I'll pop up out of it just a little too early, and that'll cause me to not really finish it. And a lot of times when I do that, the ball will fade, or it'll be kind of just a miss hit and it'll push to the right. So a couple things on this. So the first cue to know how you're doing it is if you see when you go to kick the ball, your left leg's bent as a right-footed kicker because you have the weight on your left leg and you're leaning away, right? But one thing that would happen is instead of staying down, like keeping this leg bent, your plant leg, what I would do is I would straighten it out as I come through to kick the ball, and it would instead of being here, I would raise up. And again, that kind of caused me to lose power, and it was causing me to pull my leg and kind of chop down again on the ball instead of staying bent and staying inside and swinging through this inside panel. So I would be here and I'd be coming and I'd go like this, and I could tell because my hips would kind of come up like this. I'd still get them through the ball, but I can tell because I would kind of rise up as I kick the ball. So that's one of the indicators. Another indicator is if you're kind of just skipping and you're barely finishing the kick and you're landing, just barely in front, or you're not really skipping through, or if you're falling off to the left, that's not good either. So that's kind of not finishing the kick. You want to make sure you stay here and stay through the ball the whole way. And what I like to imagine is almost imagine you're trying to kick a board or something that's like a yard in front of the ball. So you have to kick through the ball to get to that board, right? So don't stop everything here. Keep everything going through the ball. And this really helped me stay engaged here, and it helped me get through this inside panel. And by doing this, I added probably 5 to 10 yards on my kicks, and It really helped with ball contact and everything, because now instead of rising up, my foot's staying down on this level and I was able to hit it in the right spot. Alright guys, that's going to be the video on why your field goals missed to the right. Thanks for watching. If this helped you out, drop a like and subscribe for more content. Also, keep in mind that not all of the things that I say will help y'all out. This is what I've learned, and these are the things that I've noticed in my technique. But everyone has a little different technique, so again, keep that in mind. And yeah, again, I hope y'all can take away some things from this and apply it to your kicking. But again, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.